Hey everybody, it's Michelle. I just want to say that in this video, I think I look a little bit more sane and better than what I did in my other two videos in the past 2 days. I had so much fun doing those makeup tutorials, and it was so funny to me, and I really hope y'all looked at them and saw them and liked them. I just thought it was funny and tried to be entertaining, but yeah, that is not my normal everyday wear. Maybe once in a long while, but not often. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the movie The Conjuring. It came out in 2013, and that movie has a very real, true story behind it. It took place in 1970. The Perron family, Roger, Carolyn, Andrea, Nancy, Cindy, April, and Christine. The Perron parents had 5 children. They were all girls, and the parents wanted to move the family somewhere where it was quiet and where they had a home big enough for the kids to play in and move around in and stuff like that. The house was in Rhode Island, and it was a 10-bedroom house. So yeah, I guess there was quite enough room. Well, on the very first day they moved into this house, the owner said, and this is quoted, "Sleep with your lights on." And I guess the Perron family found out why that was said to them not long after they moved in. Not long after they got into the home, they started seeing and hearing some paranormal type of things. One of the youngest daughters, I think the first thing that was seen by one of the kids, or by any of them really, was a ghost that they referred to as a man named Manny. He was an older man, maybe middle-aged. I'm not sure what age he was, or they thought he was. He appeared to one of the youngest daughters in the living room. He was dressed in like older attire or something like that. Supposedly he had died back in the 1700s. So it said that he was first noticed by her, and she's like, well, who is this? Thinking that, okay, maybe he's one of the movers, but he's looking at her and not saying anything. So she's kind of like what in the world? Why is he staring at me type of thing? And from the moment she thought she would have said something to him, he vanished as quick as he got there. He also was talked about saying that he would watch the children as they played. 3 of the girls, I think, were very young. One of the youngest was 8. Said that he later on said that he would just sort of hang around, just watch them. They got used to it, and if they ever looked him in the eye or something like that, he would vanish. The younger siblings, they experienced quite a bit, but they did not tell their mother about it. They went to their older sister. She said, Andrea is the one that wrote a book about their life and their hauntings, and she called it House of Darkness, House of Light. And they say that she travels around nowadays and she gives lectures and talks about their dealings with what was inside that house. But anyway, she said that many nights that her younger sisters would come into her room, crawl in bed with her, shaking, scared to death, crying, talking about what they were going through and experiencing. It said the youngest girls were like tortured at night. Said their hair was pulled, their legs were being pulled, blankets and covers being pulled and yanked off of them. There was a child ghost that would kind of like, they said that they thought the child was about 4 years old. It would pace the house. They would see it sometimes very faint. Sometimes it would be like a full apparition of an actual, it looked like an actual person. That it would walk around the house crying out for its mother, calling her constantly, just a very sad, lonely ghost. they went to their older sister one day and started telling her about all the things that they were seeing and dealing with, and she didn't really believe them at first. Well, one day the daughter walks into the house going up to her mother's room, and as she gets to the bedroom door, she sees that her mother is in the floor screaming, crying, like kind of like just freaking out because a coat hanger is chasing her, trying to attack her by something invisible. So Andrea, the oldest daughter, runs to her, helps her up out of the floor, and she finally freaks out. Well, after that situation that happened in the mother's bedroom, all the daughters got together with their mother and started explaining all the things that they were dealing with, that they were scared to death. Well, after they're talking to her about it one day, and she says, well, see, first of all, not only were they scared of some of the ghosts, actually some of the ghosts had become their friends. There was another child ghost where they would find it playing with their toys. It would be pushing around cars or building with the blocks or just something like that. And sometimes he would be there. They could see him. He was visible, playing with their toys. Sometimes he would be invisible. So some of these ghosts, the kids claimed that they were friends with them. Not only that, another one of the younger children said that at night, at first, when she would first go lay down, she wouldn't be asleep, and she would feel somebody come and kiss her on the cheek. She said that she would have her back to the edge of the bed where it was taking place at, and she would be scared to death to open her eyes and look and see who it is. She says she knew it wasn't her mother because her mother smelled of lilacs, but she knew it wasn't her because this person smelled, which I'm sure it wasn't a person, smelled of sickening sweet fruit. Okay. After a while, they finally tell their mother, and she's like, well, we need to leave. First of all, the kids are like, no, some of these ghosts are our friends. But yet there were still some not so nice spirits as well. So the mother is like, okay, well, I'm going to do some research on this house. Come to find out, there was 8 generations of people that lived and died in this home. The man, John Arnold, he lived in this house in the 1700s. He was maybe middle-aged, a little older. He became very, very depressed. He drank himself to death, but in the end, he ended up poisoning himself. He put like rat poison in his drink, and they said he died a very slow, very painful death. And then Mrs. John Arnold, at the age of 93, I guess she was alone, she went out to the barn and hung herself in the rafters of the barn. And not only that, it was said that there was a little girl named Prudence Arnold. I don't know if she was the daughter or granddaughter or what have you, but her last name was Arnold, and she was supposedly raped and murdered by a farmhand on the property. There were 2 men that had drowned in the lake. There's a lake on the property at the house, and 2 men had drowned in that lake. 4 men supposedly had froze to death. I don't know how. It said they froze to death on the land. So that happened. And also somebody else had hung herself. A woman had hung herself in the tree right by the lake, kind of overhung by over the lake. So anyway, the mother goes and looks all this stuff up. She gets some information on it. And one thing about this family is that they were not religious. They were not religious at all, supposedly. Well, in the movie where they go and they find some help. They find the help of a couple named Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were huge, very well-known paranormal investigators. They, over the years, over decades, they also did in some investigations on the Amityville horror. That was a true story also, turned into a movie. They had done over 4,000 investigations having to do with hauntings, haunted houses, possessions. They assisted in some possessions over the years, and Lorraine Warren, she had said that, you know, the only reason that I'm able to still be doing this line of work is I always had my faith. God backed me up. He was there with me throughout the whole situation over the years. And the reason that she thought that the Perrons were so horrifically haunted was because of the fact that they were not religious. They didn't, I guess they didn't worship the Lord or God, and they were just really attacked. Before they moved in the house, there were some other people that lived there over the years before them, and everybody before them had claimed to have dealt with the same type of haunting, same type of things that the Perrons went through. They went through also, except for one person. A local minister lived in the home, and he was the only one who did not go through these haunting type of things. And the Warrens, you know, kind of put it that because he had religion and his faith, he wasn't messed with. I don't really know how accurate that is, but I think the one thing that really did them in was a woman named Bathsheba Sherman. She was a demonic person. She was very evil. She was known to be very odd, very strange, very, a recluse. She wasn't, she was talked about, whispered about, and you got to remember, this is back in the 1700s. Back in the 1700s, things were very, very different. She was a recluse in her home. Hold on a minute. Okay, so yeah, the woman that started, like I said, there were some good spirits and some bad spirits. And the one person that was probably the worst, and I've got a lot of information on her, was Bathsheba Sherman. Wow, say that 50 times really fast. I will tell you about this woman. It's going to take a few minutes, but please watch this video. And the second video to this is got like quite a bit of like freaky stuff. So if you watch this one, I'm going to have the second one up as soon as I get this one up. So when you watch this, watch part 2. Okay, y'all, I'll see you in a minute. Bye.